What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Talk NFT. We talk all things Web3. You guys know my amazing co-host Brian. What we have a special guest coming back for the second round. Jaymes, aka Skigod, welcome back. We need some sound effects like I mean, I'm dressed like a rapper, so we need that. It's fun times right now. We're having fun. I'm throwing back to my Halloween costume, wearing the 2021 NFTs, utility based NFTs, clothes that I got. Shout out to Adidas for a rug and everyone. But here we are. Welcome back, Jaymes. Welcome. You want to go by Jaymes? You want to go by Skigod?
I don't care. Jaymes is fine. I'm
All right.
already Jaymes. So, and also to clear it up, like everybody thinks I ski or something, and I don't.
I was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah, it's
How'd you get your username?
it's actually from a Solana NFT a while back that had like this fun little run called Bubble Goose Ballers. Uh, it's kind of still like a nothing burger, but they had this one trait that was a ski mask like over the head, and I just decided to like buy all the ski masks that were available. And for whatever reason, I've always just like liked that gangster. Like I think of like an English rapper like kitted up in like what you're wearing, but with a ski mask. And like that's where it came from. I don't know. There's a GIF that's like the rapper Nas putting on a ski mask, and I've always liked it. So, anyways, I snowboard. Fuck skiers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely not related to skiing. So I'm
Gotcha. Well, Jaymes, for those that don't know, Jaymes is a legendary trader. Him and my soul buddies, deep in your soul trenches back in the days, and still crushing it today. I would like to say you became a bit of a Bitcoin runes. I wouldn't say maximalist, but you came over to the other side and really doing some big things there. And you're very successful. That's why we wanted to get you back on, because I remember one of your tweets saying like, "Oh, this might be your last cycle," and I'm like, "Dude, Brian, we might not see Jaymes again. He might be riding into the sunset after this." So perfect time to get you back on.
I'd love to never talk to you guys again. That'd be great. That means I did something right. Who knows? Yeah, I saw a space like you could see the ordinals and runes ecosystem building, and like Bitcoin's not really going anywhere. So I was like, to become like an influencer in Solana has a certain type of like vibe to it. This like kind of young YouTuber, streamer, Twitch type of thing. And I don't really do that. And you're also running from really far behind to pass people in that area, right? Because everything's moving fast. So Bitcoin had this weird kind of pocket where I was like, there's not many people in Bitcoin that are like putting content out there consistently, making their names known, unless they're like builders and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'll do this for this whole quarter. I'm just gonna kind of post a fuck ton about runes, ordinals, whatever people are talking about in Bitcoin. I'm gonna do some of my like self-development stuff. I'm gonna talk about trading and things like that, because we are in a bull market, and it's really interesting to me to see like where are people making mistakes, where are they doing really well. Because like in a bull market, it's funny, right? You could be winning but making a lot of mistakes, and you won't know it because like number go up. So it's really interesting times right now. And I just tweeted literally before I got on here. I was like, I'm trying so hard not to buy anything else right now, because like I bet we're all feeling it, right? You're seeing all these things go up, and you're just like, where should I deploy? Like I need to catch up. Like everybody else is crushing. Like Cypher Genesis this, and this ordinal that popped there, and like what am I missing? Or like what's going on with AI and all the whatever. And to me, like you mix in this I don't know about euphoric meme run so far, but like we're up in the upper echelon of like pumps, to where I'm like, I know if I go and deploy more right now, like that's going to be one of those spots where it's probably, if you run the sim a bunch of times, it's probably a mistake. Like, yeah, maybe I could buy Cypher Genesis right now and it goes to 100, and like I make 100%, but like, was that right? I'm not sure. Maybe I'm getting bailed out in a sense. But if I deploy more now and Cypher Genesis just goes back down to 20 million and it's fine and it's still in a bullish setup, like, well, to me, that's a mistake. Like I got, I chased the dream there, and it was available at 2 million for like multiple, like a week or something. That's when it's scary. That's when it pays off. So I'm just trying to be careful right now. How do you guys feel in the moment about like your plan, you're deploying and stuff like that? Am I roughly right?
You're definitely more disciplined than we are, or I'll speak for myself that I am, because right now I am looking. I think because a lot of my network they're rotating, so they were in the slow streets. None of them are rotated to Bitcoin, not surprisingly, because it's so difficult, right? Which is another question we'll ask you later. Some of them are moving on to base with bigger bags, and there's haven't been much listings there on main exchanges. Yeah, so they're bullish on that. So I am looking at spots to deploy a little bit more. Thankfully, I'm not over leveraged in any way whatsoever. So personally, I'm waiting for January to make some moves. This nuclear scare that we got wasn't really a scare. So trying to see the macro with what's going on, because memes is more fundamentals than anything, right?
Well, what do you mean by fundamentals, I guess?
Not technical analysis, meaning just news in general.
Memes, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like kind of news off of like
Right.
influencers and timeline and sentiment and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think yes and no. Yes, in the short term, in the kind of medium term, I feel like you also have to be in a bullish environment outside of that for that to work. Which is why I'm a little bit hesitant to deploy more. But like, and if you have edge and you have edge, like you have some people you talk to and they're dialed and they're in the trenches, because there's a lot of people in the trenches right now that are seeing things really early, then fucking deploy. You know what I mean? Because the getting is good. But like if you're trying to move big money into shitty coins, like you gotta be really careful,
Right?
Because there's just different folks. Like if you're a guy who throws a half a soul into something every hour, different game than a guy coming to try and make a 500 soul play on a meme coin or something.
Yeah, you nailed it there. I think that's kind of where I am. I've sprinkled with some of these micro cap coins on Sol, having fun, kind of chasing the current, meta. I was in Euro, I was in Riff, made some good money off of them, but nothing that was life changing. But to be honest with you, all I kept doing was rolling a lot of those profits right into Sol. I think that's kind of like a great play, even though we're trading at like 240 right now.
So smart though.
The growth right now, the real passive play there with off of these meme coins is just to buy Sol and watch the number go up. But as I build my Sol bag, I'm also deploying, some random shots here and there. But I also, Joe knows this as well. There's some like Sol meme coins that are kind of like blue chip in the standard in my eyes, if you want to throw that term around, that I've deployed a decent amount of Sol. And I was like, I'm going to ride this at least through like the Thanksgiving. Everyone's getting together, Christmas time, everyone's talking about it. And, kind of what's almost become consensus now, I feel like we were talking about months ago, but if Trump would win, and that's a big push, obviously, for the market, but consensus feels like everyone's saying to sell around inauguration.
Right.
I don't think that's
how it works.
Yeah,
you thought you were being sneaky with a good idea, and now everybody and their mom is saying the same shit. Yeah,
yeah. I'm timestamp saying that like months ago. If that would happen, we were just kind of like, I was like, because a lot of those things that he's promised, I think will happen, but it isn't going to just like happen on day one. But who the hell knows, man? We could get like that Bitcoin reserve. There's so many bullish things, but I do think in the short term here. Short term meaning the next couple of weeks, like Thanksgiving.
Did we lose you?
No, I got him. He's good.
Oh, in the short term here, that we'll probably catch some bids here in some of these meme coin meta. But where I wanted to go with this, and I almost cut you off earlier, is that you called out a rune that I definitely had written down because I wanted to talk to you about it because I was watching it all day yesterday. Was the Cypher Genesis rune, and it's running with the AI meta, the first AI coin. Essentially on Bitcoin. Kind of what are your thoughts on that coin right now? And do you think that'll die off, or where are you thinking there?
It's a good one. I own 0 of it. And it's not because I don't like it. It's because I missed my win. Like to me, like there's like a really good window. There's like a medium window, and then there's like a shitty window. To me, like we're in the shitty window to like allocate right now. That's me personally. Like some people think this is a $500 million coin. It's Satoshi. The whole thesis makes sense to them. So deploying this, like there's Sol AI coins that are flying to 150 million. So why at 35 or 40 million would I not? But fine, go ahead. But like to me, there was a window there where AI was flying everywhere. Runes were bidding, and Cypher Genesis was just like not going anywhere. And it was sitting at like, I don't know, 2 or 3 million or something for days. Like you had your shot to really go for it. And I just didn't pull the trigger. And I don't know why. I think maybe it was just whatever, the mood I was in. Maybe subconsciously there's other things going on where I feel overly deployed right now and I don't want to just keep making decisions. Like I made a couple decisions yesterday that I already like regret.
Sure.
And nothing's even changed in them. Like they're not up or down. I just am like, like that was a bad purchase. Like why did I do that? Because I feel the need to assert control by doing something. Like I just can't not do something, right? So I like that's a problem I have in trading. It's why when I day trade, I have like 10, 20 trades on at a time because I'm like, I got to be doing something. I can't sit on the sidelines. So yeah, I think that the thesis is cool. I was just talking to somebody about this. I don't necessarily know what's super special about it, other than it being like essentially a trained chat bot on the Bitcoin ecosystem that kind of maneuvers around crypto Twitter saying like the world is code, blah, 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 and kind of bull posting. The thing it has going for it is that it's made by a guy with a respected name in the ecosystem. It's clearly like got the Satoshi narrative. So like you can sell that to people pretty easily. And like it's just hard to deploy 10,000, 20,000 coins on runes. Like they could spin shit up on Sol no problem. So I tweeted about this yesterday. I was like, as money comes into runes, it doesn't just like disperse to all these new things. It kind of starts to rise to where the cream of the crop is. And that helps something like Cypher because it doesn't really have any other options right now. I mean, the Skynet one, right? I looked at that yesterday and I'm like, like Skynet neural AI. Are they just trying to fuck with me here? Like, just throw a bunch of Elon Muskish words out and like people, yeah, they ended up buying it, dude, because like they missed Cypher and this is the next one. So yeah, like if you're like a short-term trenches scalper or whatever, you should probably just be fucking going after it and not worrying about it. But I'm like, and this is one of the downsides of runes so far, and I think this will change, but like I'm very protective of my Bitcoin, right? So like I don't want to just spew Bitcoin to spew Bitcoin, but it only takes a few runes trades and ordinals trades to kind of like get rid of that, right? So that's what we have to do to all these other people that are like they don't even have Bitcoin. They're so underallocated to Bitcoin. They have all their money in Sol or whatever. So to get them over here, to get a wallet, to spend the true God money of the digital ecosystem on shitcoins is like, that's a big step, but it's happening. You can see it. Long-winded answer. I don't own it. It seems fine. I don't know. Ansem had a little something to do with it. He kind of tweeted at Butoshi once. That kind of probably sparked a lot of interest. So do with that what you will. I don't know. We're at a weird point. It's already run a 20x since like 4 days ago. You know?
Yeah. Good point. And I had a question on the broader runes ecosystem overall, because we're in the trenches, but you might be a little bit deeper than us. Like you just mentioned, is once Bitcoin reaches 150,000 point, once it melt faces, are we going to see that liquidity flow into runes? Is the UX still horrible? I mean, it is to me. You can't swap from stables to Bitcoin yet. I mean, what's your thoughts on that overall? Is it just another BRC20 failed experiment, or is it going to really be a mainstay here upcoming?
I think it's hard to argue that it's not going to be around. I think you got a lot of the bigger names now kind of finally admitting it and moving money there. But like, I don't know if you guys have heard of like Bitflow. These swaps and these things to make it really easy are like so close. It's going to be very simple for people to just like maneuver assets around like a joke. Will it cost probably a little bit extra to do? You're going to have maybe, you know, your slippage. These companies are probably they're going to eat for a little bit as people use these and don't realize they're getting like chewed up and there's not competition to drive the price down and stuff. But like, it's going to become a lot easier. I think this is right now we're seeing the proof in the pudding of like, if you put your neck out there and kind of had conviction, it's paying off for all these people that work it's another example of friction being profitable, right? Because now you got Bonk guy and all these guys just like talking and dude, they move markets, you know, like you cannot argue that once Bonk guy had his like little come up here in the last couple of weeks that runes haven't started really going. And he keeps saying it like, you guys are missing out. Like you guys, you know, and I think it's over 2 billion now in total market cap. Like it's starting to move, starting to make an impact. And if you get some of these swap tools, Magic Eden's probably going to really Magic Eden has really put runes on the forefront. Like they're pushing it. It's on their front pages and like they're adding diamond bonuses and all this stuff. So like I don't think they're going to stop supporting it. Yeah, so I think it's great. I think it's only going to grow. But again, this is like a good argument for the ordinal. I'm a little questionable on NFTs and where they're going to go outside of like the like holy grails, but like it's another good argument in the construction of runes and ordinals, and that the money flows to the top, and that rollover of money could roll into the ordinals ecosystem where also the money flows to the top because people aren't just creating new projects all the time. So I think like the most impressive like PFP communities and stuff that exist now are all in Bitcoin. Like OMBs, Pizza Ninjas, whatever, the cats, the big four, right? Like the big 4 or 5, like they run this ecosystem really. And I just see that as becoming even better, especially as like this idea of like the rune and the ordinal can grow together, right? Or like your example of Zero Bro, like somebody is like, oh wow, that coin's running, let's quickly spin up an NFT for it. But in Bitcoin, like it's just not as easy to do that, and it costs a bunch of money. You can't just like create a pump fund in 3 seconds. So I think the money as the space grows, which I do think it just has to by now. I think it all flows into runes and ordinals and Bitcoin. I'm becoming more and more of a Bitcoin maxi in general. Like I love Solana. I have my staked Sol. It's still a massive bag, and I still think it's the leader of the cycle. But the whole goal is to spin that off into more Bitcoin, and I think a lot of people kind of say that. So why not start playing there now? You know, if that's where you kind of want to end up next year. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I think there's a real possibility that runes overall take off. Really see eye to eye with a lot of what you're saying there. My personal experience with runes, though, is every time I buy runes, I like hardly ever sell them. Like I just like buy them and hold them. Yeah. I don't do a lot of actively trades, but if you would look at like what I'm doing on Solana, it's like gross. You know, I have like 10, 20, 30 transactions in like an hour or two sometimes because I'm in and out of coins. But I think that shows a little bit, and you make a really good point. Like you don't want to spend your Bitcoin. I'm very cautious about where I'm sending that Bitcoin, even in the smallest amounts, because, you know, I'm so bullish on that asset long term. But I think there's really a world here where people are going to discover as the user interface gets more sophisticated and swapping becomes more of a feature, where the only place you can really make more like direct Bitcoin is playing with runes, you know, trying to catch those swings and rolling it back into like essentially the mother asset.
And I hadn't thought about this until now, but like, you know, if you go ask everybody, like, when do they think this cycle is going to end, right? You know, 95 out of 100 people are probably going to say, I don't know, summer, fall next year, right? Kind of standard liquidity cycle argument, whatever. And if that's the case, and if people have learned from previous cycles, then and they've seen Bitcoin dominance over these times and how it performs in these kind of down periods. Don't you think a lot of people are going to be eventually rolling big amounts of money that they've made in this Bitcoin or this cycle back into Bitcoin, and then they could chill there during rougher waters? And what do you do when you're in Bitcoin? Play with runes and ordinals, might as well. And then they're going to have probably these layer twos are coming out, and you'll be able to earn yield and all this shit. So to me, all roads lead to Bitcoin. And like you said on Sol, like it's like you don't even respect any NFT anymore, like barely any NFT outside of maybe Boogles. Boogles is like the one, like, like the big 200, 300K sales. Outside of that, well, first of all, nobody can afford those. Second of all, like I would snaps. The only thing I like maybe wouldn't sell right now is like a Mad Lad, because they have partnerships and you think maybe you'll get airdrops or something. But even that, like, there's no respect left in the like that ecosystem. It's just transactional. Where's the money? Who cares? So to me, Bitcoin is solidifying its communities and Solana is ruining them.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, I'm part of the Pizza Ninjas.
Just how it is.
Yeah, definitely seeing a lot of the ordinals. Hopefully, like you mentioned, is it coming back? Is it not? But the communities where you really love and enjoy those communities inside Bitcoin, and people they just stay there, like I do. Like you mentioned, Ninjas. I'm part of the Pizza Ninjas, and I just love everything that they're doing there. I hope for, personally, that a lot of NFTs do come back. I believe there's a lot of use cases for it. And I think, like we said all along, 99.9% of it's all gone, and only the ones that have actual utility are here. I hate to throw that word around, but I'm in a handful of communities that, thankfully are still around to this day in that world. In Bitcoin, since we're on that subject, we mentioned Cypher, Skynet. What's your top plays there? I know there's not too many. It's a lot less noisy over there, to be honest, in the Bitcoin runes world.
Let me look real quick. I'll look at my bag.
That's the only way to truly do it.
So my big play is $1 Billion Cat, and
love it.
I still think it's like I don't get what people don't get about it. Like, I still think it's the obvious best risk return or best risk reward, best executing, most logical play to me. It's at, what's it at? 150 million. It's sitting up on this resistance again at 160. Once that goes, like, I think that it goes on another run. Like, I just don't understand how it's still here. like it's pretty wild to me. So I love $1 Billion Cat. And by the way, like, you've probably met a lot of the $1 Billion Cat guys, like the people that are bag holders and stuff. It's like full of the best people in Bitcoin. Like, there's no like, arguably strong KOL types in there that own a big percentage of the supply or anything. This shit was like down to dust just a couple months ago, and nobody cared about it. So it's super organic. The guys who actually run it are super pros. I don't know if you talk to them, but like super pros. And they think about everything while also not getting paralyzed about every thought, right? They execute, but they have like vision. So that one's the easy one. I have to mention Cats and the Sats. Everybody's written that off. Whatever. I still love it. Bitcoin Bro Bear is like the obvious, like, new, organic, amazing, community driven, meme driven, just timeline all over your face. That one's been great. It's been cool to see that one run. Gizmo, I like. The only thing I don't like about the Gizmo pup situation is the like weird connection they have. Some people think there's nothing, it's not a big deal. Some people think it's a feud. Either way, it's like, to me, in a weird way, a little like dilutive and kind of hard to know what to do in that scenario. So like, I have some Gizmo, but like in the end, if I had to choose, I'd probably just say I wouldn't even have either of them. just because I don't want to deal with it. But can I see Pups going to like 5 billion? Yeah, probably. And if Pups does that, does Gizmo go? Yeah, like probably sends like crazy. Waddle Waddle is the rebrand thing. I don't love it, but it has some big names behind it with a lot of following. So probably does fine. What are the other top runes? Memento Mori is surprisingly at 25 million right now.
Yeah.
That's actually really impressive. I gave up on that one. I was like, I'm gonna take my drop and move on. Just like Casey's great. Casey's done good, but like I don't ever see Memento Mori on the timeline. Like to me, it's like a historic play, right? Whatever. But like I could see myself dumping that for something else. So like I don't have enough conviction to just like put it in a bag and hold it. But a lot of people might. Arsic, I mean, LOL, bro. I again just bought, like, it's funny, I've been scalping it and trying to take little winners here and there because like I can't stand, it's like ETH. I can't stand the idea of the Arsic guys eventually making it without like perfectly timing the bottom and say like, just kidding guys, like like not only did I not lose on the way down, but I made it on the way up with you. Sorry, like you can't even dunk on me. So I mean, I think R6 past the point of no return regardless of what they do, unless it's mind blowing. I think even if it pumps, it'll pump like 200%. Everybody's going to say it's back. It's going to go to 250 million and then it slowly dies off again. That's my guess. So is there a trade there? Yeah, probably. Outside of that, you got a lot of small mid cap, Psycho Hamster, Based Internet Panda. They all do probably pretty good. That's my thought.
You didn't mention Dog. What's your thoughts on Dog?
I don't ever mention that by name.
Gotcha.
I must have missed it. I don't know. Never been a fan. Just like well, I should say this. I'm more of a fan of organic stuff, right? I tend to lean towards that. I don't like founder risk. Now, riding the coattails of influencers, I understand can be a great play. But like I gotta pick my spots, and I'd prefer the feel good, like not have to hope that everything's going well on the back end. So that's my thoughts. I'm sure Dog is gonna go to multiple billions. It's all Gucci. Congrats,
I love the $1 billion cap play. It's pretty obvious. I think a lot of people like that in the Runes ecosystem. We were talking about before the show, just their logo and what you have in the background there. I think it's like the best logo around. It's so simple, but it's just like the Bitcoin symbol turned sideways and it's cat eyes. It's killer. And I really enjoy that community. It's interesting what you said about Pups and Gizmo. I have a small bag of Pups and never bought into Gizmo. I had a lot of people tell me about Gizmo, kind of missed the run on it and haven't really dived back in. And a lot of your thoughts were the same thoughts I had as well. I just was like overall confused of exactly like what direction those two coins were going in. And, Gizmo was kind of running the coattails of Pups. I personally avoided it as well, but big fan of $1 billion cat. And you mentioned Memento Mori. I sold my initial drop and then bought back in a little bit after when the providence of like Casey and that coin. Kind of what you said about Arsic is I just like didn't want to fumble a bag of just like, oh, this was so freaking obvious. It was like the creator of runes and ordinals and he created a coin. But I don't see it ever on the timeline. I don't see a really rabid community behind it, but
maybe that's okay, right? Yeah, maybe that's okay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't have a very big bag to really worry about it either way, but I couldn't be on the sidelines completely. But love your call on $1 billion cat.
And also on the Memento Mori thing, that's why I like cats in the sats. I just can't help myself. It's like,
is it $1 million market cap? It's low, right?
it's very low, yeah. And it's, well, to be fair, I'm saying maybe you don't need a timeline presence because cats in the sats doesn't really have that. Like I talked to some of the guys and like I know there's a community there, but it's very small. And like to me, it's more about the name, the nostalgia, the fact that it's been there since the start. Like it had the first big run in cats. Like cats in the sats to me is just like such a cool thing that I don't think it needs to be much more than that. But I do know like they also have something cool going on that they're going to release later, which I don't know if it'll, make everybody pile in, but I just think it's cool that it's still, to me, relevant. But yeah, the pups gizmo thing. Like I had this interesting comparison. Let me ask what you guys think. Is I see $1 Billion Cat as bonk, because it's this brand heavy. Hey, we're going to be at conferences. We're going to use smart contacts and partnerships, and we're going to become this kind of PG. Everybody knows about it. High holder count brand. And then you have Gizmo as more like the whiff, where it's like this organic kind of fuck you. It's just a hat, like it's just an imaginary cat, like kind of Web3 thing with no like big plans, no partnerships. It's more of like there's like fucking like there's a meme of him like jizzing or something, right? Like it's just like it's a little different of a vibe. So what do you guys think of that like kind of analogy?
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe. Cutting you off.
Yeah, I love the analogy. Yeah, I'm a big bonk holder, and they have, like you mentioned, a lot of presence. They have integrations. You can stake and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm trying to find that play, right? A lot of people are comparing that different chains on base on your Ethereum. What's the bonk? What's the bonk over there? Or bonk was the Doge of the Sol world, some would say. So, yeah, I have my own thesis on the overall market. I haven't really formulated one for runes because it took me on a wild fucking roller coaster ride. And I always hear these things about, not even here, just experiencing personally, just the speed bumps there. But like you said, friction could be profitable. And me and Brian talk about runes all the time of ones that we like. And $1 Billion Cat, always at the top of that list. So we're definitely bullish on $1 Billion Cat. Gizmo, haven't gotten into that yet, but I like your play on it, calling it the whiff. And I definitely faded whiff. Brian didn't. So if it is the whiff of the runes ecosystem, then definitely I am in.
Yeah, well, I mean, then maybe Pups is, because Pups is kind of that too. It's kind of like a fuck you culture, like a whatever, but and maybe the safer play. But it's funny how we seesaw between, like, Bonk is having its moment, right? But a month ago, Bonk was forgotten again. Utility sucks. Yeah. Like, why do you need utility? It's all about the fucking vibes, like whatever. And then Whiff comes, Whiff fills that, and then it seesaws, and then Bonk all of a sudden is this thing, and you're like, oh, now I want to be in Bonk, and utility does matter, and presence does matter, and then like it's gonna inevitably switch again. So to your, like, these are things you got to be kind of working through yourself, right? Like you don't want to get caught seesawing that back and forth and getting chopped up. Like maybe you have both. Maybe you truly believe the presence is better, or maybe you want that fuck you culture. But there's a lot of people out there like that saw that whiff move, including myself. It went up to like new highs, a bunch of shorts got liquidated, and it fell back down to like $4. And I was like, oh fuck, maybe I should buy it. Maybe this is Whiff's run. Like, Bonk's not really doing much. Whiff is gonna go to fucking $30. Like, then sure enough, Whiff just dies off after that, and Bonk goes on some historic, run. So it always finds a way to fuck you. It's really funny.
It was all Bonk guy, and I'm a Whiff holder. I used to have some Bonk, but I've had Whiff almost for a year now. Like I've sold a lot of it, but I've carried like a moon bag, which is awesome. So I watch it pretty closely. When I saw it run up to like 440, I'm like, keep on going. We're retiring off of this, just laughing it up. And Bonk guy came out and wrote that thread about unit bias between Bonk and Whiff. I read the thread and I'm like, damn, he makes like some sense here. Like he really does, like from a retail perspective, and just how I look at market cap, so everyone else looks at like, hey, I got 4,000 tokens. If they go to $1, it's going to be $4,000, which isn't the right way to think about it. But that's not what we're trying to figure out here. And I literally was talking to some friends. I was like, I might move this Whiff bag into Bonk. Of course, they did. I dragged my feet and didn't do it. And now I'm just like, well.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Well, now Whiff's going to go on a big run. Like Whiff's going to go on a big run just when you're ready to be like, I should fucking rotate, like it's just going to happen.
I've bag held this small moon bag for a long time, so it's going to be tough to shake me out of it. But
that's impressive, man. That's hard to do.
I sold a lot too, so don't get me wrong. I sold a
Yeah.
lot on the way up,
Yeah.
way too early. Obviously, you know, it hit 60 cents. I'm like, oh, just selling it off.
Yeah. I mean, I had a buddy just say this the other day. I was like so shocked that Popcat, along its way to $2, has had 9 drawdowns of over 70%. 9.
Whoa.
Like, what the, like, well, ironic that it's a cat with 9 drawdowns. Maybe this is the final one. But yeah, so you had to hold through these insane spots. Like, why would whiff be any different, right? It's crazy. Hard, man. A meme game's hard. Some people think it's easy when you have these like random weeks where you could throw a dart and everything goes up. But like, you get past that week and you start noticing not everything's going up, and you got all your capital deployed into like 12 different things. You got to start making choices. It's tough, man. It's hard.
The amazing thing about
Yeah.
the amazing thing about the meme game is just like how like we'll say normies or whatever. Like I talked to buddies who I've been begging them to buy like Bitcoin and Sol, and Ethereum, like the majors, like for years, just get in on these. And I get it. And I've like tried to even explain it from a technical standpoint. And that was silly, but I'm like, well, Sol's a layer 2, you gotta transact, like totally glazed over. And I get it. It's who wants to hear about someone's crypto bag? Nobody wants to hear about your fantasy football team, It just is what it is. But the minute memes started popping off, I have people like, I'm like, well, it's a cat with a hat, or it's a woman that yells at a cat. You remember that Desperate Housewives woman? That's a meme now. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that's what's pushing you into crypto right now is these meme coins. So it's really unique, everyone's perspective. And I need to get better at thinking that way, to be completely honest with you.
People want to be entertained too, right? The shit is entertaining. Like, you could be multi-tabling your fantasy football while also shitcoining during halftime. Like, it is awesome. Like, you know what I mean? And every person falls to the meme game. There's only a few people I know out there that haven't yet, but over the past year, every influencer who is like, this is dumb, this will come back to earth, blah blah blah, all of a sudden one will make them laugh, and they're going to be like, well, I've only bought one meme coin and it's this, right? But I know if you went and checked their fucking wallet, they got like 10 of them now, because everybody ends up like, if you make 200-300% on a meme coin, it makes everything else look like a joke. It makes Bitcoin look like a joke, stable coin. You're like, why would I bother with these L2s or this DPIN protocol or whatever? Which, by the way, DPIN's great. But like, it's too fun. Like, the lady's screaming over the table at the cat. Like, come on, like, that's hilarious. And like, if you want to throw $50 at that because it's funny and you want to show your friends, like, let's go. What are we doing here, guys? We're here to have fun, right? Like, and try to get fucking rich at the same time.
Yeah. And when the number goes up, a 5-10x on that person who bought their meme coin, all of a sudden they are freaking hooked. It's like, well, now I got another lead. I got another one. It's a cat that was resurrected from the dead.
I have a tough time telling anybody to buy anything. I don't mind with people in our ecosystem, but like, if a neighbor or a family member or whatever ask about it, I just say like, yeah, you should look into the ecosystem, man. It's really interesting. I think it's good stuff. But because I can't take losing people money. I just can't do it unless I know you're a risk taker and like, it's not a big deal. But like, even if it's $100 from a little cousin or something, I'm just like, like, I don't know, man. You do what you want to do.
Yeah, how many people have like offered, hey, what if I just give you $10,000? You invested for me. I'm like, for one thing, I don't have the correct certificates to do that. For another thing, that's just a huge headache. I'll pass.
It's a no-win situation, because even if you win a money, they're going to be like, should we have held, like, or you lose. Like, it's gross. I've had that ever since poker. Same thing. Like, oh, you play poker? If I give you $500, can you turn it into 1,000? Like, it's just not even funny anymore. You know what I mean? It's just, it's like your grandma giving you like, she knows you play poker, so she gives you like a shitty Walmart like poker chip set and says, "You play poker, right? Here you go. This should be good for you." Like, God damn it, Grandma, just let me live my life. You know, R.I.P. By the way.
Well, Skigod, I want to don't really want to wrap it up, but what I want to ask you is to poke holes on this thesis or the current top 10 market cap of meme coins. We finally reached 10 meme coins that's over $1 billion in market cap, which is low, but at the same time, everyone's yelling at their community saying we're going to 1 billion, yet only 10 or 11 has done so in all of meme coin land.
Yeah.
Is that floor going to rise? Our thesis here is, at least for myself, is that, hey, if we do have a meme coin super cycle or whatever you might call it, that those top 10 floor, just to crack it, you might be looking at 10, 20 billion in the next cycle, within the next cycle or the end of this cycle. What's your thoughts on how to get in there, or is it all going to shuffle? Because we've seen the mainstay for a lot of them, but we've seen PopCap crack in there. We've seen Goat crack in there. I hate to mention new narratives, but Brian just messaged me on the weekend saying, "Oh, you see this new DeSci thing?" I'm like, "Oh my god, another new meme coin sector." So yeah, what's your thoughts on the top 10 overall and just kind of meme coins moving forward? Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if there's a DeSci rune yet, so I was actually like kind of peeking today at like Luminex and stuff and wondering, because like obviously somebody has an opportunity there to be like, they're gonna create some stupid name. It's gonna be like BTC DeFi or DeSci or whatever. It's the first DeSci rune. Yes, I hate to say it. I do. Like, because in the end, memes are fun, but do they deserve the capital that they deserve? Maybe. I don't know. Not for me to say. But I do think we're seeing like a step change in memes right now for a few reasons. One, there's a lot of money in the world. I still think people underestimate how much capital there really is out there. Two, even crypto hedge funds and bigger names with bigger money are starting to finally let it work into their psyche and their ecosystem. Like, so people are starting to treat it. It's gone on long enough now where people have to pay attention. Same thing with Bitcoin in the real world, right? ETFs are here now. Larry Fink, government, future president. Like, you got to take it seriously now. You can't just give me this basic rhetoric anymore about volatility. Like, we're past that, And I think the same is true for memes here. Like, it's been like 2 years now, guys, and like you're seeing all this happen. And I just made a post yesterday where I feel like a lot of these memes are instead of a like massive euphoric run and then like a kind of lower high cycle. I feel like with memes, every time they come back like, if they do come back, they come back stronger. And like they keep getting bigger and bigger and more influence and bigger holder base. And like, I think that's going to keep occurring. So to me, 1 billion is the new 100 million, 100 million is the new 10 million, 10 million is the new 1 million. And now I don't even bother with a coin if it's not like 5 to 10 million, right? Like, I need to see, is there socials up? Is there a Telegram chat? Is there memes being made? Like, are there people talking about it? Is it being searched? Like, all the way, like, if it used to be like, if you could find 100K or 200K coin and it ran, like, you're really early. But now that's just what it takes to literally get on the playing board, right? Like, you have to bond or whatever on Sol. So to me, we're experiencing this step change, and it takes a while for us to really fathom the possibility of 100 coins being at 1 billion plus, and some of those being 50 billion, 20 billion, 15 billion. So I feel like we're all processing that now. Some people are already there, right? You got Bonk Guy and all these guys that are very well articulating that, and their mind is already there. They're visualizing it, they're manifesting it, whatever. Somebody like me, I'm trying to like deal with it still, where I'm like, what do I allocate then? Like, what are my expectations? Like, all the rest of them going to run to zero, or should I just be like all allocated to one thing or 10 things? Because one of, I'm still trying to process that, and I think a lot of us are, but I think we're in that change right now, like right now. And if AI coins can start, like, dude, this one was fucking with my mind, is like, can they create an AI coin, which I'm dumb when it comes to this stuff, but that can create its own 10,000 agents that are just going to go on Twitter and bull post this coin and act as real people and invest in it and just drag narrative towards it, and then have competitors of that, and then they're talking to each other at the same time. They're not even real. Like, could that run to 50 billion? I mean, yeah, right? Like, big companies that were probably not like, what was Peloton worth at the top before it went down 99%? Probably a fuck ton, it's probably $100 billion company or something. So for like a large internet movement to get there, I just think we're still not really processing like how something digital and that's just an idea can really be worth a lot of money. But I think it's happening. I'm still trying to get there, but I think I'm getting there. So, yeah, I don't even remember what the question was at this point, but yeah.
No, that was good. That was great because you're describing your current mindset, which is really what we want insight to. Last question for you here. I know this one's asked, of everybody, but we got to do it. And it was a boring question. What do you think Bitcoin is near term, end of this year, and then end of next year, or near term is?
Yeah, everything looks good, right? I mean, Web3 was blessed with a red wave, right? I think it's hard to really argue against. I think that's why we're running, right? I mean, and to be honest, going back to Brian's point, like, I think consensus can be right sometimes, like, barring a large pullback in TradFi and like, it's very hard to stay disconnected from TradFi for a long time. So like, barring that, like, I think we're just set up for that Q4 continuation through. I have this idea in my head of like mid to late January exiting a large portion of my speculative stuff. So that includes most memes except the ones that I truly want to like really ride, right? BDC maybe. Getting out of everything, stabling up, taking yield, getting out of actually a portion of Sol, because I'm hoping by then Sol is around like 350 or 400, and I kind of had that as like a area that I'm looking for a portion. And then I want to sit back, and because I don't know if you guys are really pay attention to seasonality stuff. Not a huge believer in that, but like in general, February is like a very tough, structurally tough market environment for the broader markets. So then you have a massive Sol unlock in March from some of the estate stuff, and you also have like this big OpEx. All these things are like headwinds. So I think if we run for a few months and we're looking back and we're just like, Jesus Christ, we went straight up like for 3 months, like we're gonna have that first big long pullback of the bull market before the real like sender, right? So in my eyes, it's still full green lights until middle of January. And I think you'll see, some on-chain stuff too, like MVRV and all these things like ripping, hash rate ripping, miners ripping, things like that. And it's going to be like that. I'm really trying to sense that euphoria, which I don't think we're in euphoria yet. I just think there's a bunch of people that are up a bunch of money. Like, I don't think we're there yet. If you remember NFTs in 2021 for months in a row, that was euphoria. You couldn't fucking miss for a long time. And it became expected. Once that was like my big thing for this one. Once you expect to just continually win day after day is where I have to be like, yo, all right. So I'm kind of hoping for a run in here, strong end to the year. Everybody recapitalizes and puts, funds get more access or whatever in January. Trump gets into office, things settle down, pull the plug, re-enter in like March for one last hurrah. And then we have like a golden summer. Maybe that July 4th America party will be super fun that Trump wants to have. And we'll all sing Kumbaya, That's the bull.
Nice.
The bear case is we're all broke by then, who knows?
Hey, To your point, that's why I'm wearing my $900 Adidas NFT hoodie to remind myself that when we get into that phase, you best, you best sell before, and a good reminder that not everything goes up forever. Well, Jaymes, we appreciate you hopping on. God willing, next cycle we all won't be here because $1 billion cat is actually going to be huge, and we'll be on the sunset somewhere. Where can people find you as a reminder if you want to be found, and anything else you want to show?
I'm around Skigod Crypto on X. No, I got nothing to show, man. I'm out there shilling all the time. So I just think every single person, if you can do it, should go to Bitcoin Vegas in May. I think if you're not planning on going there, it's like the perfect aligned time. It's perfect weather in Vegas in May. It's not too hot. Every single person in Bitcoin going to be there. It's going to be the main, conference of the year. And I lived in Vegas for a while. It's the best place, and everybody can meet everybody while we're all on top of the world. Yeah, so plan on that.
Love it. I'll see you there, my man.
Unless the nukes come, like we said. Unless the nukes fly.
Cool. Appreciate you.